Hi guys, I'm going to talk a little bit today around evening routine and ritual and how to infuse some of our practices into the time between 5 and 10 p.m. So let's imagine that you're leaving work around 5 or 6 p.m. and you're commuting home. During that time, it's a great opportunity to have an audiobook, to listen to an inspirational podcast, to do some deep breathing if you're taking the metro or public transportation. It's an opportunity to sort of have a meditation practice, just taking in that's all around you, just breathing quietly. The most important thing is that we're not just scrolling and we're not just our energy's leaking. We're reading the news and we're reading Facebook and we're doing this and we're doing that we're really trying to focus on the mind, body, soul connection. Whether you're in the car or you're on public transportation, that you're using that commute time as an intentional time to fill the soul and replenish. The Tara Brach podcasts are great for that, really being able to bring you into your body when you're commuting home. So let's say you get home at 6 and then you either have to get dinner ready for the kids or just for yourself. So a few strategies here is that you can have a set ritual and routine right when you get in the door. So some of you can come right in and do a little bit of a yoga practice, do a little bit of a meditation practice, prepare your healthy food while you're listening to a podcast, something like that. You also might have sort of the like dinner craze, especially if you're not planning and you're not thinking ahead about what's happening at these times and what areas are of the day are challenging for your family or your dynamic or yourself. You might need to be getting some of that food prep in. And again, can you do that while lighting a candle? Can you do that while playing really beautiful music? Can you slow it down so you can actually enjoy the experience? And what do you need in order to do that? So let's say we're at 6:30 and we're kind of settling in and we haven't been able to eat yet. So in the recommendations, I usually say to close the kitchen by 7, and that's not doable for everybody. Like some people aren't even getting home until 6:30 or 7. So it's around that time. What I'm mostly wanting you to see and understand and practice is just not having food and food prep and sort of kitchen stuff, again, be another energy leak or be something that's dragging on. Not only is it not good for your digestion, but it's not good also for your energy. So if we can kind of decide that we're going to have the kitchen closed by 7, by 7:30, maybe by 8, that allows us an opportunity to have more time later in the evening for other bedtime practices, self-massage, yoga, reading, journaling. Again, these quieter practice. Basically, what you want to look at too is, especially if you're suffering with sleep issues, is that what messages are you sending your body between 8 and 10 p.m.? Right? If you're on Facebook, if you're on social media, if you're on your email, if you're working, if you're up and you're running around the house and you're doing all of this action and there's a lot of light, you're sending the message that it's time to work and it's time to be up. And for most of us, that is just not the way that we can actually feel awesome in our body. We have a natural rhythm that is really much aligned with the seasons and aligned with Mother Nature. We can resist it. And then we can really struggle with digestion, mood, energy, sleep. Or we can lean into it and say, I don't know, I'm curious. What would happen if I committed to closing the kitchen by 8? I committed to 8 to 9, quiet reading, quiet practice, maybe some yoga, maybe some candles, maybe a bath, and see what happens between 9 and 10 p.m. And again, in general, these days, I feel like if you do the practices 80% of the time, then you feel well enough, you feel energized enough to be able to, the other 20% of the time, have those things that happen where you have a deadline at work and you have to get back on the computer to fix something, or you have a sick kiddo who you're up late at night with, or You have to travel, so you can't stay on your schedule. So the point is that you're 80% of the time building in these habits and routines and rituals that your body can rely on, your body can thrive in, and then it knows like, oh, this is what I do at this time. Then you have plenty of time to digest your food, to send the message, okay, now it's time for sleep, now it's time for rest, it's time for replenishing. The other thing I want to say is that in Ayurveda, which is the sister science of yoga, in fact, I'm going to do an Ayurveda 101, hold on, I'm taking a note, class for you so you can follow that. But in Ayurveda, the largest meal of the day is midday, and that's because of digestion. So that's the thing. I never want you to skip dinner. You need to fuel your body for tomorrow. So everything I'm doing today is because I want to feel good and active and energized tomorrow. So if I don't eat today, I'm not going to have enough energy to really sustain the movement practices that I want to do tomorrow, getting up early and going to exercise, or doing the work I have to do, or being there for my kids. So you want to think of it that way. You don't want to skip meals, but maybe there's a way to have more food in the midday when your body has more time to digest it. And then in the evening, maybe it's just something much lighter than we're sort of used to seeing or we're used to making. Maybe it's soup and salad. Maybe it's soup and steamed veggies. Maybe there's a little tiny bit of protein with some steamed veggies rather than these huge big meals. Again, see how it works for you. Try it on. Say, okay, for the next week, I'm going to just have my main meal in the middle of the day. I'm going to plan it out. I'm going to think about what I can make that will be able to sustain me, that will give me all of the nutrients I need, the protein, the carbs, the fat, the veggie, just getting everything in midday, and then being able to have, and seeing what happens if you're as hungry as you are at night, and just giving your body a chance to be hungry. This is like something we're not used to. We're used to feeding ourselves all the time. And this sort of like 3 to 5 meals a day. At some points in my life, that type of eating works really well, especially if I'm doing a lot of really strong exercise practices. Right now, I'm noticing that I'm eating really good, substantial meals in the morning and at the midday, and I'm not really needing a lot of food at night. I'm able to have a little bit, and that is really working in this season. So it's that relationship that we're cultivating, it's that curiosity, and it's the seeing where we can add in some of these really beautiful practices to help nourish our soul between sort of 5 and 10 p.m. So I hope that helps address dinner and kitchen cleanup. I'd love to hear from you about what other issues that you have that were not addressed here. So feel free to post it in the group or email me pleasance@littleom.com. All right, namaste.